Hello ladies and gentlemen, MarauderEX here back with more Let's Play Jeanne d'Arc. Alright, so before we head to Jeanne, I don't know, I've heard it pronounced several different ways at this point. We're going to do probably the most boring part ever of this, and that is the bind skills. Alright, so I touched on this a little bit. It's basically 2 plus 2 equals something. And as you can see, there's not a lot of these things. Like the purple skills, there's really only a couple of those. So that means there are things that we can't make. So like we can't make Desperation 1 because we already have those. We can, however, make Desperation 2. That is something that can be made because you can make them, and it's one of the other. You can guess the next axe ability in the formula for this. If you can't make Desperation 1, but you can make 2, then that's going to be Desperation 3, because there's a third stage of a lot of these abilities. So that's really what we've got. We've got Counter as one of those, which I don't know, I guess since we haven't made it, it doesn't show up. I forget what the other two are. You get a ton of spells, and then you get a ton of support skills. And then the coup de grace skills kind of decrease based off of what type of item you're using. Like there's, a couple of whip abilities. That's 1, 2, 3, 5 whip abilities total. You don't get a lot. So, and a lot of these things are actually kind of rare. Some of them you can't make at all. One that's used in a lot of things is called 2 rounds, which I can only assume based off the name gives you 2 turns. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but it's used to do some of the multi-hit attacks and things like that. So I would imagine that it falls into that category. But it's also really... I haven't seen it, I've not found any of them, and I can only assume it's a little harder to get a hold of, because it's used in, a handful of abilities, and since you can't make it yourself. That is my biggest problem with this, is that we cannot make these things ourselves. There are some abilities that we just can't do. Alright, but I do have a list of things that I want to make. Let me bring that up, and we're going to do that. So first off, we're going to need a HP plus 20, and the heal spell. And we do that. And we're actually going to make 2 of those. And that makes heal 2. And I might make more than 2 of those. So that's heal and HP plus 20. And we're kind of not needing a lot of HP plus 20s, but I can buy those. So that's fine. Some of these are actually purchasable, like some of the base stat ones. So we have 2 of those, 2 heal 2s. I'm actually going to go ahead and make a 3rd one while I'm at it, if I can. I do have another heal spell. So, because I want to have 2 heal 2s, because I'm going to start upgrading some of these to people. Alright, and what we're going to do is we're going to take one of those heal 2s, and we are going to add it with another ability, Cyclone. And what that's going to make is Healing Wind, which is our first AoE. And remember, there are multiple ways to do all of these abilities. So, like, if you look at the view formulas, if we go down to Heal 2, we have one of them, Heal plus HP plus 20, to make one of those, and Healing Wind. Heal 2 and Cyclone 1. I don't know the other heal ability, but, like, the other Healing Wind, just off the bat, is Heal 1 and Cyclone 2. So it just takes a level 2 AoE wind spell, and then... or a wind spell and a healing spell. One of them has to be level 1, the other has to be level 2. So that's actually kind of a neat, progression there. But a lot of the other ones, not so much. Alright, so what we're going to do is we have Take Flight, which is kind of useful. But I'm not really using it that much, and I can make more of them. But what I'm going to be using a little bit more of is Take Flight plus Meteor Bolt. This one's going to be just a little bit more beneficial for me. So we're going to use that, and that gives us another Sky Dart. So we have 2 Sky Darts, one for each of our ranged units now. So one for Marcel, one for Beatrix. So that's actually going to be really worthwhile. And then the next stuff that I'm going to really just kind of focus on is the HP stuff. So I actually need to shop. I need to buy a couple more HP plus 20s. We'll just buy 5 more for now. Actually, we'll buy one more, make it an even 10. Even 10 on that, too. Because I'm going to need a couple of these. And then the Soul Spirits and Luna Spirits, I'm going to need a couple of those, too, but I don't think I'm going to need to buy any of them. So what we want to do is we're going to increase our HP by a fair bit. So take HP plus 20 and Luna Spirit plus 1, and that is going to give us HP plus 50. And I could just get by on a whole bunch of HP plus 50. Oh no, that's HP plus 30s. It's the HP plus 30 plus Luna Spirit, or I missed a step somewhere, so it's HP plus 30 plus Luna Spirit, so I'm going to need a couple more Luna Spirits to get HP plus 50, but I'm not going to stop there. I'm going to make a whole bunch of HP plus 50s, and then we can actually upgrade that to HP plus 100. And I'm just going to throw in a whole bunch of HP plus 100 on my team, because there's really no reason not to. So, that's the goal. So we're going to make just a bunch of those. And then we're going to up our accuracy and probably our attack as well. And that's all I'm going to go for this round. We can do some of the defenses, but some of these also, the math really doesn't add up for a lot of these things. So for, let me see if I can find one of them. There's a couple where it just didn't add up right, and now I don't... It's mostly the HPs, or MP. So like you can take MP plus 30 and add another MP plus 30 and you get MP plus 50. So you're really losing out on 10 MP there with that skill stone pairing. So what I've done for that is trying to get by with the best skill stone pairings that I've got. So let's see, let's just keep going. I need to just make a whole bunch more HP, MP plus 50s, and then go from there. So, it's not exactly the most impressive, and this is not going to be the most entertaining episode, but once you see what we're actually capable of doing, and I really could have done this much sooner, but I wanted to make sure I had enough skill stones, and I'm starting to get some of the newer ones to where I'm like, oh, let me look and see what I can find. And really, if it's not a blue skill stone, making it seems kind of eh. So, that's kind of a letdown for me, really. But there's only so much I can do about it, so... Alright, we are going to be pretty good on HP at this point, so I can probably start combining them. I want to have at least 5, because that seems to be the minimum party that I can go into a fight with. So, HP plus 30, plus Luna Spirit plus 1, and a lot of these have upgrades with Luna Spirit, or the Spirit plus 2s and the Spirit even plus 3s once we start getting a hold of those. So, we have access to a lot of things. So, let's do that. We're just going to make a couple more HP plus 50s. And then we're going to just combine those down to its base elements. Make a couple of HP plus 100. I'm going to make a couple of MP plus as well, but not nearly as many, because I only have a couple of people that it's actually going to be worthwhile for. I'll probably put them on my Rangers, or my range units, to be completely honest, because with Skybolt and an attack bonus, that just seems like a really good way of dealing with threats without having to deal with threats from early on in the fight. So, there are a lot of different strategies are going to open up for us now. No, I don't want to do that. That would waste. That would waste. Especially since I'm not using the spirits for anything. And I can actually buy more of them because I've sold a bunch of them to various shops. I did find out that once you sell them to a shop, you can buy them back from the shop, but only as many as you sold. So if I sold like 10 Luna Spirits in Jeanne, I can only buy 10 there, and then they go away. Unless it's something that is already obtainable at that shop. So if they, like, say for whatever reason they sell HP plus 30 at the shop, and I sell 20, but because they sell it, I can buy an infinite number of HP plus 30 there. Just as an example, I don't know what sells what at this point. I can say that mechanic is actually really neat, but also really obnoxious, because now if I need to get more of these things, I either need to farm them or I need to remember where I sold them. So, alright, so we have 3 HP plus hundreds. I'll just go ahead and stop with making those, and we'll just kind of move on. So attack plus 3 plus soul spirit makes attack plus 5. So we can get that, and start making a bunch of attacks. And then accuracy plus 5. 2 of those will make accuracy plus 10. So I'm going to make a couple of those, so I can have even greater accuracy. And then I'm going to actually use those to make something else, too. So I think accuracy plus 10 is the most we can get in terms of a single... yeah, I think that's the most we can get. So I can't, like, take 2 accuracy plus 10s and add them to make accuracy plus 20, which kind of makes me wonder why I can't do that. That seems a little silly to me, doesn't it? Like, I guess that's just me, but we're gonna make just a bunch of those. That way I've got, you know, I can upgrade a couple of people's accuracy all at once. And we're going to do the same thing for the evades. Since I have no one using evade at the moment, I can make a couple of evade plus 10s, and that way, when I do start using evade, have a slightly higher version of evade, which is helpful. And then there's one other item I'm going to make. Yeah. So let's just use our last 2 evade plus 5s. I think I can buy those. I'm not 100% sure. Don't think so. But if we take 1 accuracy and 1 evade, plus 10 each, and this is going to make another kind of useful ability that I think would be paired with something else. Preemptive. Oddstone that invites carelessness on the part of the foes. Counters before their attack instead of after. So I don't know if pairing that with counter would actually be more beneficial, because then you're guaranteed to hit first, and sometimes you might even stop it depending on what procs first. So it's a neat ability. So it's something that I'm kind of interested in trying out. And looking at a lot of these, once we hit a certain point, it's entirely possible that you can just focus all of your effort on taking one character in a specific direction. If you want Leanne at this point to be just an all-out melee attacker, you can make that happen. You can go with heavy accuracy, heavy attack, counter-attack, preemptive. You could go with any one of the coup de grace skills. You could go with things like, well, we only have counter, but you could make a couple other abilities. You can go really balls to the wall with a lot of these abilities. So, like I said, I do apologize if this is kind of boring, but I wanted to show off a lot of this because I haven't been able to do it. And so, like, we're gonna make a couple more attack pluses, and we're gonna make some really heavy attack pluses. And you can do the same thing with magic attack, and everything kind of scales the same way with the attacks, at least. So, attack is Soul Spirit. Magic attack is Soul Spirit. HP and MP are Luna Spirits. And then defense is Stella Spirits. So any of your defensive actions are going to be Stella Spirits. So all of those kind of just you know, function really specifically. So, like, I can make a couple of magic attack pluses, and I'm probably going to make a magic attack plus 20 and give that to Richard, and go from there. So, like, I could do that and Soul Spirit, and that'll make a magic attack plus 5, and then I can make another magic attack plus 5. Actually, I can't because I only have one. So I could, but I could do magic attack plus 5 plus Soul Spirit plus 5, and that'll make magic attack plus 10. So I could at least get a magic attack plus 10 right now. And I'll go ahead and do that, just so we've got the 10. And we'll give that to Richard. So Richard's spells are going to be kind of beefy at the moment. And then we've got attack plus 5, and then attack plus 5. And that gives us attack plus 10. And then I'm going to make a couple of attack plus 20s by doing 10 plus 10. So, just do that, and a lot of the stuff to make sure I have a specific number of these things I might do off screen, just because I'll have to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth to make sure I buy enough of these things. But yeah, there are a couple of other abilities that I could make. I could make Ice Bullet 2, which I don't think I have. No, I do have. I have one single Ice Bullet 2. Flame, I could make Flame, but it would take 2 of my Soul Spirit plus 2, so I'm not going to worry about that. What else do we have? There is a purple sword skill. Well, I could get counter plus 2 by getting rid of my preemptive that I made, as well as one of my counters. That'll make counter plus 2. And really, making counter sucks. It's either raise mobility and triple slash, or XP bonus, which I can't make or find right now, and raise mobility, which I think I have 1 of. I have 2 raise mobilities, so like I can make another counter at the extent of one of my raised mobilities. But since this is a support spell, I might do that. Let's do it, because I have a couple of triple slashes. Oh, it won't. Oh, because I only have 1 and it's being made, or it's being used by someone. What can I use to make triple slash? Let's look at that. Flash Strike and Crescent Art. So I can make one of those. And this'll, at least this is a little more entertaining because now it's going to fill out the grid a little bit more. So we've got that, and I want to make a counter. What was that? A preemptive and counter? No, I need to make a counter. Counter is triple slash plus raise mobility. So we're gonna sacrifice one of our raise mobility and triple slash for counter. And then I'm gonna take that counter and I'm gonna add my preemptive to it to get counter 2, just to make that. Because I can make more preemptive. I just need to make more accuracy and evade. So those aren't terrible to make, but this gives us counter 2. So that's actually really, really helpful. And then we've got I can make another one. It's called Adroit, or Adroit, A-D-R-O-I-T. It's counter plus evade plus 10, and what it does is it actually is kind of neat. It removes the penalty if you're attacked from the sides or behind. So it gives you the same damage and hit percentage as if you were attacked from the front. So, or I think it's if you're attacked. I don't think it changes if you're attacking. It might. I'd have to actually read the thing on it. But so we've filled out a couple of these, not really a lot. Actually, there's one other thing I can make, isn't there? Let's do that. I can make... Let's see, I had a poison, don't I? Alright, I have a poison, and I have sniper, and that'll make poison arrow, which I think I already have one of, but okay. So I didn't really need to do that, because I have several of those. The other poison, but since I'm not going to be using poison, that's fine. And then poison plus flash strike. We'll make that. And what does that make for us? Venom Edge. And then there's one other ability I want to make. Oh, I can make... Ooh, I can make Helm Splitter. Because I have lower force, don't I? And I have... What? Why isn't... It says... Or do I have to do it in a specific order? Yeah, I apparently have to do that in a specific order. Okay, so that's interesting. It has to be a specific order as well. Alright, so this is going to make Helm Splitter, which is kind of a much-needed axe ability. Cleaves an enemy helm in two, deals heavy damage, and lowers defense. So that's kind of useless. No, well, And since this is kind of a boring episode, I'll make it a slightly longer boring episode now that I'm getting into some of the more, you know, specific abilities. Let's see. Where did you go? Actually, no, I can't make that because I don't have any more evade plus 5s, do I? Nope, I used all of that. You can make provoke with desperation plus evade plus 5. So if I can buy more evade, I could buy accuracy, but that's about it. So, all right. So yeah, that's what I'll deal with for now. I'm gonna do some more of this off screen to make sure I have that, and then I'll show at the start of the next episode, before we go back to Jeanne, all of the specifics that I'll have. So, yeah, I'll see you guys in the next installment. Till then, later, everyone.